Hello, and thank you for taking the time to join us for the Youth Passing System webinar series, where we continue our mission of empowering youth coaches to spread the ball around and score more points with an effective passing game. So after years of being asked, which passing concept should I run for teams, anywhere from high school on down, we created a streamlined plug-and-play passing system for busy coaches to just plug into their run game. Our program specifically improves your quarterback's decision-making, ensuring your team plays confidently on game day, relying on muscle memory to light up that scoreboard. My name is Matt Lasker, and alongside the eternal one, fake Coach Leach, together we will be your guides through this free webinar series. So after spending a few hours with eternal Coach Leach and I in completing this webinar series, you will have a pre-snap to the next snap, repeatable process your quarterbacks will step through on every single play. If you don't have this, it is a must, because without a quarterback who understands what's going on, you don't have a chance. You will have pre-made or custom engaging lesson plans your athletes will take home and play on their phones outside of the pressure of practice, which is huge for truly understanding the why. And lastly, you will have mastered your quarterback room, as our streamlined passing game ensures you and your quarterback can figure out issues on the fly, because we boiled it down to a few key points. So Coach, how's it going? I saw you earlier when we were setting up for today, drinking some coffee. What's your coffee order these days, Coach?
Well, coffee tastes terrible anyway, so don't put anything in it to obstruct the harsh, bitter taste, and just put it down one sip at a time, you know?
Absolutely, Coach. I could not agree more. Coffee is something that I have a hard time getting accustomed to, but it is a necessary evil, so there you go. I brought you on today so we can tell these other coaches about this plug-and-play passing system that will basically work for any youth team from 8 years old all the way up through high school, and they can just plug this passing system into their offense no matter what style of play they have, any formations that you throw at Coach Leach and I. We will figure it out and make it work for you. As long as you give us 3 receivers to attack grass with, together we will light up that scoreboard.
And that receiver combination can be running backs, tight ends, H-backs, sniffers, fullbacks. It doesn't really matter. We can make it work with motion or preset formation.
You know, Coach and I have seen it countless times, and it doesn't really matter what offense people come to us with. They've come to us with run dominant offenses. They've come to us with wing T. They've come to us with gun spread. They've come to us with pro style, even beast heavy offenses. We created a simple passing system as the answer to what every lower level coach has been asking us forever. They need to find a simple, efficient passing system to complement their run heavy systems, or they want to know how to become even a more deadly passing team. And this is the answer. Now, Coach, before we spend the next few videos talking passing game primarily, let everyone know how we both feel about the trenches, because I know my favorite play in all of football is GT counter. And I've heard you were an O-line coach at one point in your life.
I mean, the reason they have footballs is because of the big guys. And you know, when O-line, D-line go one-on-one and, you know, just get incredibly violent. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you get to see those guys just go to war, you know, and it's got all the things that football entails. There's shouting, there's blood, there's boogers, there's a whole thing. I mean, and there's spitting, there's fighting, there's ripped jerseys, there's somebody grabbing somebody's throat. I mean, it's why you have football.
Absolutely, Coach. This is a gladiator sport, first and foremost. Just like your buddy Hal Mummy states, just because we pass block more often than we run block, that doesn't mean we are soft. We love the trench warfare. We have both been quoted over the years by stating that the offensive line coach hire is one of the most important for any head coach, if not the most important, to check off his list. Football at its core is all about the trenches, and regardless of the style you play, it is football at its purest form. So, Coach, as you know, we have curated this youth passing system to be a simple answer for coaches to plug in and instantly have a proven, easy to learn passing game for players 8 years old all the way up through high school. While we love the air raid philosophy and the concepts that have come from that system, we want to make sure everyone knows the secret sauce to every offense's success, regardless of style, because we both believe that different styles can win. But there's one key attribute of winning teams that runs through them all.
The most important thing we do is practice. The most important thing I think anybody does is practice, and all those skills that, emphasis, attitude, and all those things. That's where it's all reinforced, is during practice. Figure out how to be more precise in how we teach the stuff. So we spend more time really thinking about practice and organizing practice than we do scheme, because what we select and what we choose to do, we try to rep it as often as we can and be as sharp and specific at it as we possibly can. And what I'm most curious about, what other people do really, is how they practice. How do you organize your week? Everybody gets so many hours in the week, and there's a fine line between what's too much and what's too little, where you're going to get the most out of people, where the breaking point is.
Oh, absolutely. And this is why we decided to give coaches everything they needed from A to Z to implement this offense and dominate. From the offseason through championship weekend, we have it all packaged up nice and neatly for them. Of course, we have the concepts and the playbooks for folks, but the most important thing is that we have the install and practice plans. So coaches can easily use our practice plans and install plans, or integrate them with their current practice plans. We even have position-specific plans, so you can just hand coaches year to year their position plans, and they could take it from there. We all know at the lower levels, from year to year, sometimes you have a lot of coaches, sometimes you don't have many, sometimes you can recruit your own coaches, sometimes you get handed coaches. So this is a way to keep synergy between the offense and the positions, even with the new coach every single year. We even have practice drill cards, so your position coaches can refer to the drill card and the coaching and the key coaching points and nuances within that. So as they get used to the offense, they can preach the right things on the field. And again, after a few practices, this will all be things that come to them like second nature. But it's nice to have these reminders, especially when starting out. Now, Coach, here's a new wrinkle. I'm really excited to show these other coaches that we even have our own proprietary software, which is already set up with the engage and lesson plans built out based on the youth passing system concepts. It takes quarterbacks to the youth passing system streamlined process on every virtual repetition, stepping them through their pre-snap keys and post-snap reads outside the pressure of practice. We have even preloaded explanation videos before every single virtual rep, so your players can review the key coaching points off the field. This ensures when game day hits, they are working off muscle memory, playing fast, and most importantly, making the correct decision every single play. Coaches and players will both see reports after playing, so they know which concepts need more attention at practice or just a simple conversation. This is a much better option than what we've been doing for decades.
Not to mention what a luxury it is for you as a coach to be able to quickly diagnose any issue on the fly during a heated game, since we've boiled down our passing game to a few key points.
Coach, it is well documented that you have gone to great length to get your players engaged with your lesson plans over the years.
As coaches, we failed to get through to them. As coaches, we failed to make our coaching points and our points more compelling than their fat little girlfriends. Now, their fat little girlfriends have some obvious advantages. For one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are. And we had a whole bunch of people, everybody wanted to win the football game, but nobody wanted to play the football game. Well, that defies every level of work ethic that exists with regard to football. And as coaches, we have to solve our failure on reaching them. The players have to listen, and I'm willing to go to fairly amazing lengths to try to make that happen. I am going to try, and there will be some people inconvenienced, and if it happens to be their fat little girlfriends, too bad.
Oh, Coach, that is hilarious. You're killing me, Coach. But point taken, we all need to figure out ways to make our practice plans and lessons more compelling and engaging, which is the exact reason we created Player Book's Magic Chalkboard. So we will get into the offensive system much deeper in the upcoming videos. But as we mentioned already, it is air raid based. Our 3-grass read system attacks the same pieces of grass on the concept side every single time, but different receivers are running into each of those pieces of grass, so the defense can't lock on to who's going where. What this does, though, is enables our quarterbacks to make the same reads on every play, ensuring that they can play fast and make the right decisions every single time, which is the number one attribute that you can want in a quarterback: decision-making skills. Your teams will learn how to take advantage of pre-snap gifts, taking those easy yards every chance they can get. Quarterbacks will learn how to move through their progression, making apex defenders wrong and hitting the correct wide receiver every time. This will not only raise your team's football IQ, but more importantly, they will have a blast while learning the offense. If you can send your quarterback and players to the next level with these foundational elements in place, not only will you be setting your athletes up for success, but those school coaches will love that you handed them a quarterback that makes great decisions based on keys, reads, and progressions, and that they have a team with high football IQs. So many of the coaches in our community at playerbook.com would love to know, Coach, if the air raid has changed since you started with Howell Mummy.
It has. That's hard for me to gauge because, I mean, some of these changes are gradual. If we adopt a new play, I've always tried to cut one that we have so we can control the package and practice and execute it, because execution's most important. You're better off having too small of a package than too big a one. You know, techniques or a tag or an adjustment that may be changed, or perhaps where the way you practice it. It's something you try to grow and build on, you know, all the time.
Oh, totally, Coach. It's a constant evolution, but I love how you make a point of keeping your playbook small, removing a concept if you add one. We can out-execute anyone as long as we know what we are doing. Many air raid haters are shocked that we have such a small playbook and convinced that air raid teams can be figured out because they run the same core plays year after year, just as you've done for decade after decade. What do you tell coaches that have this concern when they think about implementing air raid?
But football's always been a game of execution. You know, there's not a lot of road runner, Wile E. Coyote, who you ambushed and fooled the other guy, and then you walk away laughing like Muttley after the rock fell on the guy or something like that. I mean, so it doesn't matter what you do schematically. The most important thing is execution, and we spend more time thinking about practice and how to, you know, teach what we want to execute. And the more sharply refined you can teach it and focus on it, the better you're going to be.
Absolutely, Coach. And I'm so excited to have you as my co-pilot through this entire youth passing system webinar series. Coaches, we will try to keep this as succinct as possible so you guys can just consume it and get the scoring points. But we do want to take you through everything that you need to implement and dominate. So today, obviously, we're starting with the youth passing system and philosophy of why. Coach Leach and I have gone through that. Next time, we will be getting into formations and skill types. If you haven't done it by now, please connect with Playerbook on all of our social channels, the YouTube channel. You need to make sure you like and subscribe so you can get in line for the next one of these. Add any comments if you want to talk about any of these items. Twitter, Instagram is growing fast, but of course at playerbook.com, that's where we have our coaching community with other youth passing system coaches. If you haven't yet heard, we have a new quarterback code podcast where we talk to offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches, ex-quarterbacks, anyone that can help us decode how to best work with our quarterbacks and figure out how to find success within our passing games. All right, Coach, anything you want to say on the way out?
You just try to get better. I mean, there's not much to adjust. I mean, if you're determined to improve your team, you know, the best way to improve the team is improve yourself. And after that, everybody gets on that page. And then if you have full effort, then, you know, you can improve from that and set a new ceiling. And if you're doing that all the time, if you're truly doing that all the time, then there's not much to save.
This is exactly what we're talking about. Coaches, if you want to improve your team, this is where it starts. You improve yourself, learn this system, it rolls downhill from there, and you guys will be off to the races. So thanks again, Coach, for being my co-pilot on this series, and we will see all of you on episode 2 soon.